to just mention a couple technical things while we're getting people into our gathering here today. So first, excuse me and Zoom have been having some technical conversations. So if for some reason my video gets cut off, know that I'm going to be here. It might take about 10 or 15 seconds for Zoom to sync back up with me. So know that I'm here, and there might be just a couple moments of technical upgrade. And yeah, so I'm just gonna, for the sake of streamlining right now, I'm gonna be the main video, but you guys are gonna be able to raise your hand in Zoom if you have anything that you want to share. And then also you can type in, I've enabled chat, so you can go ahead and type in the chat box, and I'll keep the chat box open so that we can kind of do a little bit of a Q&A as we get going. All right, so let's all just take a deep breath. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Feel how good it feels to be alive. And we are, we're going through some really wonderfully challenging times. And one of the keys for something that feels extremely challenging to know is that that's the exact amount of potential for transformation. It's the same principle as dark versus light, where they inherently hold balance with each other. So we can feel this deep sort of tumultuous energy, and that's really the signal for the type of transformation that is that we're capable of, that has the potential on our planet. So and with everything I share, as always, you guys have probably heard me say this a lot, just check in with what feels right for you. And you should feel a charge, yes or no, with something that resonates for you. And really what I wanted to do is to start to open up a conversation. And this can begin to be a weekly gathering where we can interact with each other and start to see and feel what we're feeling, what we've sensed. And I've really myself sensed these sort of waves of energy that have been coming through in the last weeks. And they definitely have picked up the speed or the pace or the magnitude of the waves. We've been getting more and more waves of these sort of, it feels like that tumultuousness I was talking about. That's how the wave feels when it crashes, and it really feels like it rolls through society. But then we get to know there's a new lens that we get to look at. And so one of the things that I mentioned was that energy, that charge of the disorganization is a clue to the potential for change. So I've got a couple notes that I want to just make sure that we get to. And as you guys are joining, just know that you can use the chat box for questions. And if you have any sort of thing you want to comment on, raise your hand, and we'll get to a practice in a little bit too. So I've mentioned before that, you know, we're powerful creators, and we still are powerful creators, even though we're in this space feeling sort of locked down and stuck at home. This is really also pointing us back to the type of power that we actually have. So just as we know that money is one form of prana, and that there's many forms of sort of energy currency, we can kind of start to consider ourselves as the most potent type of energy available on the planet. So we still have ourselves no matter where we go. And we actually have this time, this opportunity, when we're being encouraged and invited to be still, to sit indoors, to really consider for ourselves the type of power that we have. And so I've mentioned before the idea of what the media says, and don't give your attention to the things that make you feel fearful. That still stands, but there's a lot more depth to our shifting understanding of how we are able to create. So this is part of the tumultuousness, right? You know, we've been taught this story of all the things that we should be doing with our lives, which many of us are. You know, I have a roof over my head right now. I have a bed to sleep in. I have a bank account, and it's kind of this, you know, well, do you have a car to drive? Yes, I do. And so there's all these things that can just keep us so distracted and so engaged in all the shoulds that are the shoulds of society. And I think on a deeper level, we know that not all of that is necessary, nor is it true. Or there can be an opportunity for upgrades around the way that humanity currently, the way we interact with each other, the way we interact with our planet. And I think for those of us who really can feel at a soul level that we do want those types of changes, this is the potentiation that's happening right now. So as we consider ourselves as powerful, and kind of just to sum it up, we're not in control in the way that we've often been taught that we're in control. So we've been taught that we're in control in all those linear ways that I mentioned, you know, get good grades in school, or, you know, do all these things in society, and then follow these things, and then you'll have this amount of control, and then you'll have this amount of money in your bank account, and then you'll have this security, and then you'll be happy. And that may or may not be linked. So to kind of sit with this right now, and I talked about this a little bit in that Jedi Mind training, it just mentions that everywhere we go, everything we do, we're sending out these signals. And one of the ways that we have power is to come to understand we're not separate. So that's one of the main things that we've been taught. I need to go to the store and get a lot of toilet paper because I'm separate from you, and if I don't have toilet paper, then I don't really care about you, you know. And when we really consider that we are this interwoven fabric and that we are not separate. So what I was talking about was the way that we create, the way that we, thank you, Janice. Janice says, you're dancing with me. Good, we're all in a dance together. And I think this is just also shows us how, you know, technology is powerful, but if we can all hang in there together, we get to use and harness technology essentially, right? So we're not in control the way that we've been taught. And we still are in full control as we sit at home and read a book and check out whatever we're going to check out. We really are coming, it's a deep subconscious shift where I kind of sense that society as a whole is coming to see the things that work and the things that don't. And we're really each individually really feeling it. There's no hiding right now, you know, and that's really one of the things that I've been saying in the last week is everybody's reaction to what's happening is there's no hiding, there's no posturing, there's no, I'm going to put a smile on my face and fake it, because it's really, it's so deep. The touch is so deep. The pain point is so deep, or the potential for that is so deep. So there's this inner working that we're going through right now. And even if you don't have to have an elevator speech about what transformation is happening for you, but also you might find that you do have one, you know, and as you do start to have this shift, but then some of it might also be subconscious, you know, it might be this just deep like lifestyle shift or value shift that's happening for you. And I do believe it's happening. The opportunity is there for everybody, which is why I really kind of wanted to have us gather. And I want to next go into this 3D, 4D, 5D, and I call this in 5D for a reason. So third dimensional reality is kind of that thing that I mentioned that we've been taught, that, you know, the physical world is all that's real, and until it's proven, then it's not true, you know. And that 3D world is the world of separation, where, you know, I, Lisa, am separate from Brent and Janice and Rasa and Cindy and Jill, and you know, we're separate beings, and somehow in that separation we act out of fear, and we try to keep ourselves safe. That's where that hoarding mentality comes in. So in this 3D world right now, there's a huge virus scare. And I'm not necessarily going to touch on how much of that is real. I invite you to kind of sense into it and really consider that there is a virus out there. Also, I've mentioned before that this virus holds a vibration. So if we hold ourselves in high vibration, law of attraction will just cause it to not be attracted to us. So, but the 3D world is that dance fear of, well, do I need to pay attention to it? And if we have a fear, then we try to protect against it. And then, those who study law of attraction know that the universe doesn't hear the word no. So if you say no virus, the universe hears the word virus. So if we are trying to protect against it, we get to wash our hands, we get to do wise things with on. And it's interesting, there's a conversation on out there around what's happening in the fourth dimension. And so the fourth dimension is this astral realm that I talked about, which is, when we get into energy work and energy healing, it's how you send distance healing. It's how, when your loved one's in the hospital and you're sending them love, how that actually can positively impact them. But the astral world is equal parts light and dark. So that's also this world where, I talk about the tumultuous feeling, but also the immense opportunity. So the astral world is a training. We're getting to flex muscle. We're really to choose, like, what do we want to see in the world? Do we want to see the chaotic world where people die? No, not at all. So the 4D world is also where you can kind of feel there's this deep fear pull, right? And there's this interesting question of, like, what reality do you want to see? So there's this larger conversation about what's happening in the vast rebalancing of the systems that run the world. And I'm not going to get too deeply into that, but there's some interesting things, or we can have a chat about it later, but there's some interesting things going on in the astral. I'm back again. You can know you're always safe, always empowered in the astral world. No crazy spiders are going to come and get us. We always do have the power of what we call in. And this brings us to the topic of 5D, the fifth dimension, which is why I call this In 5D, because I think this is really timely and related to Saturn entering into Aquarius. 5D is that realm of oneness. It's that realm of knowing that, every choice we make for ourselves is a choice that impacts the entire energetic field of the planet and the universe potentially. So we're not disconnected, and we're not separate, and we're stepping into this time where we get to move beyond these fake walls that we've. I'm back again. You can know you're always safe, always empowered in the astral world. No crazy spiders are going to come and get us. We always do have the power of what we call in. And this brings us to the topic of 5D, the fifth dimension, which is why I call this In 5D, because I think this is really timely and related to Saturn entering into Aquarius. 5D is that realm of oneness. It's that realm of knowing that, every choice we make for ourselves is a choice that impacts the entire energetic field of the planet and the universe potentially. So we're not disconnected, and we're not separate, and we're stepping into this time where we get to move beyond these fake walls that we've. Oh man, thank you guys for your patience with me. So I hope that I'm going to send love to Zoom right now and to my internet connection, and thank it for allowing this gathering. And I think it's so powerful that we get to, choose that we're not, that I can even do that. And that we can get to know that that there's so much more that's happening. And I'm going to do a podcast in a little bit, but I see the age of Aquarius as being this sort of water rebirth. So we're going through right now, if you consider this housebound time, it's very quiet. It's almost like it's a gestation phase. We're a little baby in the womb of our house, and we've got our safe walls, and we're going to be rebirthed at some point this year. I'm not predicting the chaos is done yet, but the water rebirth, if you think about what water birthing means, it means having the baby in an environment where it plops out and it doesn't feel like it's in a foreign territory. It feels safe. It feels held by that water. So we're each going through this rebirth. And because we're in this 5D lens where we get to consider and embody that we're all connected, that we're all going through this. That's also 3D world is showing us that we're all in it right now, you know, and there is no hiding from it. So this potential for really pulling down the walls of separation, and as we get to consider how we want to emerge when the time comes, we're not in control either. You know, we don't know when we're going to be able to get back to life as normal, and it might not ever be the same. But that's okay. You know, we get to trust that this rebirthing, this gestation phase, that we're going to be guided, that we're going to be led, and we're going to land at the right time. And it's really this internal time where we get to kind of consider the things that we want to rebirth, consider the ways that we want to shift our lens. And it doesn't have to be a big shift. And I hope you can also feel the simplicity of the oneness, where we're sitting at home and there's not a lot that needs to be done. And that's so profound, and it's okay, you know, and we get to realize that just because we exist, that we're consciousness pulling in energy, that maybe that's part of the message. So I'm going to pause here and I'm going to look at the chat just for a second to see. Yeah, Janice just said the space lets me think of the last statement you made before the hiccup. Yeah, so the space that we're going through in terms of having internal, we're kind of forced into this womb space, you know, and the womb is just our safe shelter in place space. And we're feeling relatively safe at home, you know, and so one of the lessons that I'm being nudged to share right now is we're considering that we're in our physical bodies. We're going to stay in our 3D world. We're going to stay in our 3D bodies. And we're also going to consider this astral world where this is where things become malleable. It's before things pop into the physical. Astral's like that magical playground. There's a lot going on there right now. And then we get to also inhabit even higher up. Higher vibration is this 5D space of oneness, of knowing, trusting that all is well and that I don't have to be in control. In fact, I feel this release when I can let go of the reins for a second. You know, I can't make the state of California let me go to a farmer's market. I can't do it, you know? And so one of the things that I get to do is release. And remember this way that we create. So if you consider today, this moment has been created from every single thing that we have personally thought and that we have collectively thought and vibrated about up until now. That's all that today is. That's right now. So we are creating our future right now. And considering that the 3D world, as you take it out of this physical is sovereign, you know, into the astral world of the malleability of things and the potential that we have, so that we get to kind of sit at home and start to mold and craft what we want to see. And we get to know and even try it as an experiment, play with it, that you get to sense that you are this creator and that you are choosing to create these ideas. What if we really did have a good relationship with our planet? What if we had, and water is so key as we're entering into this water bearer. Aquarius is the water bearing sign, and this water rebirth. What's our relationship to water? How healthy is the water that we drink? What are the ways that we could get better water to everybody? What are the ways that we could, you know, the list is so huge. What type of technology already exists that we could really decide that we want to lean into? You know, those are just that's the top level of so much more. But getting to consider that we're creating tomorrow right now, and that we're not slaves of everything that we've been told is true, and we're also not beholden to everything the media says. We choose from our heart the things that we want to see. And that even is related to quantum physics. You know, they've shown that human beings collapse the vast potentiation into a thing by choosing to look at something. When you choose to look at a particle, there it is. Until you choose, it's not there. So consider that right now, even with the ways that we speak and we talk and we are. And this rebirthing, this gestation phase is us being really aware of how we're being in our life. So I want to get to a practice. I want to get to a little bit of a experience for us, something that we can really help us stay bright. Because if you can feel the waves that I was talking about that have been going through the world, one of the messages is to be small, to be fearful and to be small and to stay inside and to kind of curl up into that little fetal ball and just hide. That is an option, but it's not the only option. And really, one of the ways that I want us to be able to understand our power of this potentiation this is an opportunity for us to expand. So we're going to do a practice that supports us in shining and being bright, and just see if you can let your rational mind let that go. You know, there's a judgment about whether or not the rational mind thinks that's a safe behavior. Rational mind can take a backseat for a second, and we're just going to step into this practice of shining brightly and expanding. And I invite you to see how it feels for you and to see if you get to decide if you want to come back. But so just wherever you're at, sit with a straight spine, lie with a straight spine. And you can close your eyes, you can soften your gaze. And just take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, just come into your body. Feel how good it feels to come home. And as you breathe out, just let that that sigh be anything that's already shifted, that's ready to go. So breathing in, just coming home, coming into this vessel that your spirit is inhabiting in this lifetime, your physical body, which is also your energetic field. And then exhale, it's just this opportunity. We've already, queued up a few things that are just ready to go with the out breath. 2 more times like that. Inhale, come home, come into your body. Exhale. Breathing in, breathing out. So one of the things that I want us to consider is that these physical bodies are our homes in this lifetime. And while we can and we do journey all sorts of places in our meditations and in the astral world, the best place for us to start right now is in our physical body, because this is always available to us. So just feel how your body's feeling. You can bring your awareness to any tension or anything you might be holding. And then bring your awareness to your heart and feel it beat inside your chest. And notice again, the heart is giving us this message of, we're not always in the driver's seat like we think we are. This heart's doing its job 24/7. And it's not because we're thinking to tell it to beat. So your heart is lighting up right now. And bring your awareness right to your heart center now, just right at the center of your chest. And feel the light that is you. It's always been shining brightly. It's just been waiting for you. It's just been waiting for you to pay attention, to give your attention to it, to choose to go there. So right now, just bring your attention to that light of your heart. And it's like almost this small child that's holding this flame. And it's so overjoyed that you chose to look right now. You chose to say, hey, hi, my heart, my home. And then the light's expanding. And there's this little child aspect of each of us that came in super bright and that knows what's up and that knows how to do this and that is not afraid and knows we're meant to be big and bright. And see if you can just give the reins to this light and this inner child that just knows that you can expand. And feel the light of your heart continuing to just grow. And you can use your breath, send light to your heart, exhale, expands. You can just kind of allow yourself to be big right now. And as you're seated safe at home, know that you're safe. And just kind of see if you can sense into how the universal field is holding you. And this inner knowing that sort of now is the time to step into, to get to know that space of being bright and being big and being light. So this is something that you can probably feel your physical body react to. When we do this, often our heart rate and our breath rate fall into sync, and there's this kind of of comfort, of that feeling of floating in water. That sort of water birth feeling is available. And then continue just letting yourself expand out as much as you feel comfortable right now, knowing that you're safe and now is the time to be big and bright, and that this inner child, this part of you sort of knows, yeah, this lifetime I've got so much that I want to share with my loved ones, with my community, with my friends. If I'm getting ready, I'm ready. I want to be this light. And just notice how that resonates for you. That even as you're sitting home in the 3D world, sequestered in your house, that just right now you're affecting the field, and you're stepping into this oneness and activating the light that is you, and you're just allowing yourself to be big, expand. And now just, everybody might be different. Look around you in your mind's eye. Notice if you're as big as the room you're in. Notice if you're bigger than the place where you're seated. Notice if you're as big as your block. Just notice how big you are. Bright, light. And this light that comes from our heart is love. And just kind of observe that. It might be new for a lot of us to consider that we are meant to be that big right now. And just staying here for a little bit longer. This is just an exercise in kind of getting to know ourselves at this new time on our planet. And considering that part of our journey and our meaning is exactly this: choosing to be bright, choosing to be big. And then when you're ready, just kind of allow yourself to, you can stay that big, but maybe just let yourself come back to whatever feels comfortable. That light in your heart can come back inside your body, or it can just shine throughout your field. And just kind of sense and know that this is available to you always. And this is a practice that you can do any point in time. And to sort of bring it full circle, consider how we started our gathering with this sense of the chaos that we feel is underneath that is the potentiation for change. And so as we are choosing to be big and bright, we're potentiating a new reality. We're potentiating a bright future. We're sort of casting our vote, showing up where we want to be. And there's nothing, this is such an important time. And I hope that you can start to see that every dark, there's a flip side of that coin, and it's light. So as we choose to transmute the fear and say, wow, I can be a beacon of light for my family, for my community, can help them process their feelings of chaos and fear. I can start to show them a new way to be. I can positively affect the world right now on my couch in my living room just by being me. So when you're ready, just kind of take a deep breath. You can put one or both hands over your heart and know that this is you. Know that this is very much, I talk a lot about, our quote unquote birthrights. This is just part of a new way of looking at the world. And I don't know if anybody has anything to share. Now would be a good time to share something in the chat box if you want to. We can also just kind of sit with it for a little bit. that is the extent, I believe, of the sort of message that I wanted to open up these gatherings with. And please know that I do have a bigger picture for my internet, and I do have a plan. or today was perfect, but I hope that you feel a deep sense of comfort, and this inner knowing that all is well. It's not just a blanket statement that all is well, but you can kind of feel right now how, oh, I just touched on my well-being and my ability to impact, and then my connectedness, and all is in this is tremendous transformation. So I'm going to keep these gatherings up for as long as seems right. You're definitely welcome to come back. Let's see. Yes, that Janet says that was perfect. The expansive feeling was wonderful. I was just surprised in how local I kept my energy. Well, yeah, it's important to, everybody has their own process here. You know, one of the things I also like to say to people, if you're in a state of those waves that are washing through right now, if you're in a state of being triggered and feeling fear, that's okay. You can let that be. You can know that wave, this sort of astral work that we're doing. Yeah, Cindy says, I felt myself not able to get much further than my building. And I love the thought of waves and water. Yeah, so that's okay, because we're instinctively, it's like we're this little chicken coming out of a shell. We're trying to stretch our wings, and the first time the little chick comes out, it's that water birth thing. If we're starting to see where we're headed, but we don't have to, force our way out of the birthing process and fake it. Really, we get to be with ourselves and know that, there's going to be some more waves. I'm not here to say, hey, everybody, it's okay, and tomorrow's going to be bright. It is going to be bright. But this is the time of challenge, and we're going to get more messages to put us into a state of fear. And we get to, it's internal practice. This is internal birthing, and even being able to touch on the sense of, oh man, I've got my heart right here. I'm in my body. I'm feeling pretty good. I can offer that vibration to the room I'm sitting in. That's okay. I myself still find I'm used to going out and being at ease in all sorts of situations in the public. I've felt myself needing to prepare, but I also know that I can come back home to these knowings and these practices. And then, yeah, do consider the wave experience. If your phone goes off with an alert, that noise itself is designed to make people panic, so you're going to have a reaction, and you're going to decide for yourself how much of it you feel is resonant for you. And some of it might be very pertinent knowledge, some of it might be unnecessary. And just know that this is kind of this that's the 4D training ground we're going through. And then there's this 5D that's just, we're already connected to it. It's just, we're just learning how to look at it and learning how to be with it. All right. So thank you guys. As I was mentioning, I'm going to download this video and parse through it and make it something that you all can listen to again in a very streamlined way. And I'm gonna, you guys on my email list will get a link to that. And I'm gonna start to have one particular page where you can go and get the call-in info for every Saturday, and also see the videos. There'll be streamlined videos, so you can just watch it if you feel like you're wanting a little bit of a remembering as we're in this process, and really know we're in it together. Even all of us on the call right now, we're gathering together, and it doesn't always need to be a large group. 2 people can have an amazing impact, and then 6 and 7 and 8 people are this perfect number for lowering the crime rates in inner cities. Our gathering here has been so powerful. So yes, Cindy says, thank you for this. I appreciate being able to connect. You are most welcome. And Rasa says, thank you for everything you do. Podcast trainings and support. Thank you guys. I totally appreciate the love. And I also appreciate that you're hanging in there with me with the technology upgrades, as I like to call them. Yeah, so have a bright Saturday. This has been a wonderful way for us, I think, to just start the day. And I look forward to, I hope that I get to see you all here again next Saturday. If you can make it, please feel free to join. And if not, I'll have a recording. Yeah, all right. So be bright, be beautiful. And I'm just sending everybody tons of love. And Cindy says, I agree. You've helped me navigate this new awakening. I appreciate having someone to connect to things for me. You're welcome, everybody.